Okay, good morning. Nice to have you both here. Hi, Maureen. Thanks so much for doing this today and joining us to talk more about kind of who you are as a ConsciousPreneur, what your story is, how you're serving in the world, all of those great things. I've known you for a lot of years, and I've always just loved your spark, your joy, your energy, your message. So I'm just thrilled that you're willing to kind of share with us today. So thank you for being here.
Of course.
All right. So tell us a little bit about you, Maureen. Tell us about who you are as a ConsciousPreneur, what that means to you, and why you chose to join us here in this collective in ConsciousPreneurs International.
Yeah. So my ConsciousPreneur explorations have been, in the play since the 1900s. So a very long time. My history is in the hospitality industry. And when I moved to Colorado 2 years ago, decades ago, in the 90s, I began this quest and search for really what can life be beyond limitation. And it was really sparked with some need to do some physical healing work. And I found that in my move from Chicago to Colorado, I had created extraordinary, really painful back pain. And in my quest to kind of understand what was that, because the doctors were telling me it was nothing structural, and it was truly very real and painful, I began my explorations of, the emotional connection manifesting itself physically. That's really how my ConsciousPreneur started, as a quest for better living and better health. And since then, I've created 3 different companies, and in each of those companies, they're distinctly different, and I keep them thriving through ConsciousPreneur mindset. That's how I like to think of it. So what I do for my business is really, in the shortest way, is I inspire people. I train people, and then I have a whole host of tools in my toolbox that I use to create my thriving businesses, but also invite people to eradicate limitation in theirs.
Awesome. And I've seen you do this for many years in several different capacities. We've known each other, I want to say, for, gosh, it's been almost the entire 12 years. It's at least 10 or 11 years that we've known each other. So we've watched each other grow and change as ConsciousPreneurs and really come into our own. So very cool. So do you want to tell the story about how you and I met and how you kind of got into this particular connection and what that experience kind of led you to?
Paula, I totally remember when I first met you. It was the spring of, let me do the math on this, maybe it was 12 years ago, I think, 11 or 12 years ago. And I was on another healing quest. Something, again, emotionally showing up in my body, and how can I clear this? And I don't remember exactly how we connected. It might have been internet style. And I started doing both hypnotherapy and cellular release therapy as your client, and just found the work to be super powerful, and accessing and clearing and creating, letting go in a new way that I had never done before. Now, I came to you for a specific mission. And what I received in my work with you was beyond anything I could have ever hoped for in this lifetime. And I know that sounds hyperbole, dramatic, but it really was. So one of our sessions, I think it was maybe our 4th session, when doing the work with you, you invited me to clear and release past experiences and the emotions connected to them throughout my entire body. What I found in the first session, I remember asking you, I was horrified with, or really embarrassed by, how these sessions were going for me. Because what would happen is, as you would go through a protocol to invite a clearing or a releasing, my hand would move all over my body, basically sweeping and clearing the energy. And my body would kick and move a ton. It was really a bit alarming for me. And I remember after my first session, I asked you, like, is that normal? I mean, like, did I scare you? Because I couldn't help but clear that way. It wasn't a conscious effort, like now my hand will move 2 inches this way, this way, this way. It was just my hand flew all over my body, clearing energy. And you were so spacious and gracious with me. And you had said, everybody clears differently. And no, it was just interesting. It didn't freak me out. And with that spaciousness that you provided in our 4th session, I don't remember what we were clearing, but I do remember a moment that I'll always recall is that my hand began to move almost of its own accord, reaching up way above me. And I was in that super comfortable chair that you have, one of those 0 gravity chairs. And my hand kept moving and stretching, pulled up. I started to arch off the chair until the experience that I had was that my hand connected to, plugged into source. The only way I can say it. And it was far and away the most viscerally powerful, deeply connected. It was that, you know, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel type of, and the way that my body, moving almost of itself, plugged into source, into universe, into God, goddess, was extraordinary. And in that instant, my hand filled with healing light. I took one swoop over my body and done. And we kept clearing like that. And I kept reaching up and filling my system with this extraordinary healing power energy. And I mean, extraordinary. And I remember our session completing and you're like, I'm going to step out of the room for a moment, and coming back and both of us just looking at each other and thinking, what just happened? What was that? So I'd love your perspective on it. But what it created for me as a ConsciousPreneur, it was a blend of awakening and downloading an innate healing capacity that I have, that I believe so many of us do. And for days, I was completely connected to source, getting information from people no longer embodied on the planet, knowing things, being able to touch somebody and clear energy immediately. And that experience helped open so many doors and paths to creating a healing business and helping people eradicate patterns, blocks, anything in their way. So what an extraordinary gift. I came to you looking to heal something very specific. And in that work, what I received was this extraordinary reawakening or talent to support myself and others, and waking up and living fully.
Wow. So my perspective on that particular experience was remarkable. I was so blown away at one, just the honor of getting to be in that space. I mean, when you started reaching, I knew exactly what was happening. And I knew that there was a connection being made. And I could not have been more honored to just get to hold that space for and with you. And that's my mindset as a ConsciousPreneur and as a healer, is that all the work that I do is based on getting to hold the space and facilitate healing for others. And I've experienced this connection with Source myself numerous times throughout my life. So I totally knew what was happening. But it was the first time I had ever witnessed it in such a way that there was zero question what was happening. There was an incredible intensity to the moment for me too. And the voice from above, as I was witnessing it, was basically just hold still.
Mm-hmm.
Just allow. And that's what I did. I just allowed. And at the end of the session, when I stepped out of the room, it was pretty much because I wanted to go out of the room, and I was just like, holy shit. I was like, oh my God. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was just like so overwhelmed with honor and gratitude that I got to witness that. So it was incredible. And I knew in that moment, just as well as I know today, that we would know each other for the rest of our lives. I knew that we would be friends. I knew that we would walk similar paths as consciouspreneurs, as healers, as those who want to contribute to the greater good, and who, most of all, see the empowerment of others and the ability to facilitate that empowerment for others. That is probably the greatest gift of that particular moment, is I knew without any hesitation that part of my path going forward forever was to walk with others and allow them to come into their own and really see their light, really see their gifts, really know how to determine their purpose and walk it powerfully, with confidence, with that grace that you've witnessed in hundreds of consciouspreneurs now. So yeah,
I think that was really a gift of yours, Paula, was to create the space, the spaciousness that would allow that energy to be connected to, right?
Yeah.
Even from our very first session, where nothing how I moved in my clearing work was at all concerning to you, even though for me it was like, whoa, is this normal? And I guess when I think about being a consciouspreneur, let's not be normal. Let's do it differently. Let's allow that innate gift that is only ours to be fully expressed in ways that only we can do. And that's one of the gifts that you provided in our work together, which was such an invitation.
And it's something that I feel more and more pulled in that direction every day. And it's what created Consciouspreneurs International. I mean, I've gotten to see so many people walk the path of wanting to serve the greater good, wanting to honor their gifts, and yet at the same time, that creepy voice of, am I a fraud, or am I not good enough, or what am I really doing? Why am I doing this? You know, or that other voice of fear. Is this going to provide for me? You know, how do I keep sustaining as an entrepreneur in the field of consciousness, because I'm worried about money, and I don't like marketing, and I don't like bookkeeping, and I don't like running my own business. There's a lot of, and you know who they are. There's many of them out there that struggle with running their own business. And my background and mix of having corporate background and training and management and running businesses has made me a successful entrepreneur who just feels like it's easy. So I'm like, wait a minute. People don't know that it's easy. Let's put it all together. And you come with a lot of good business wisdom too. And that's something that was one of the reasons that the main reason I wanted to bring you on for this conversation was because of that story, and to ask, what doors did that open? You talked about the paths that came after that. And it's been such a joy to watch you. And I've so admired the work that you do and how you've lived your life, that I really would like to just hear more from you about where have you grown since then?
So since then, that has facilitated, you're right, it was a massive door opener, not only for my own wellness, but for me to be able to be a more powerful coach, intuitive energy healer for clients. And to be able to use those tools for myself, my businesses, and clients has been an extraordinary gift. Since then, well, I've been self-employed, solopreneuring since the 1900s, since 98. And so I'm coming on 21 years of self-employment. means that I do come from that entrepreneurial mindset of like, what else? What else can I create? What else will be a joy for me to create? And so I have businesses that are, let's say, if we're on the spectrum of energy healing, coaching work, and coaching can be both for those curious ConsciousPreneur explorers or coaching for executives. And so I'm able to bridge into both of those experiences. And really, it's the same set of skills. I'm just talking about a few different topics. And then I have training companies in a variety of different ways. And so what I've noticed as a ConsciousPreneur or doing that energy healing work in the doorways that have opened is that the tools and the capacity that I experienced in those moments with you and in that work with you make for a very diverse buffet. I am not a one-track woman. I have many different, so a typical week in my world could be teaching a compliance training class, like very, right, left, opposite side of my brain than healing work. And then I could be doing an emotional clearing cellular release session. But in that, I really allow them to weave together. I don't create them as separately. I co-create them all using the tools we have. I don't know if that answers the question, but it's really created a foundation from which I get to, well, sometimes I forget, but I get to use the healing work tools, the coaching tools that I have on myself in my business creation, and then certainly treating sometimes my businesses as their own entity and inviting them to co-create their future with me. So it's really just been expansive. It's very, I'd say it's different than the way most people, when they're creating a new business, and this might work for some people and is proven to be a good way to thrive, is to create a very detailed business plan and the strategy of and the creating a lot of foundational elements to work their business. Back in the 1900s, when I was just starting to work for myself, I crossed paths with a woman who I really admired. And I was like a brand new puppy, like, what do you do? How do you do it? How can I do it? I love what you do. I want to do what you do. Yeah. And she was calm and simply said, just start doing your work. And it was, I don't think she'd pick me up with a lineup of one, but I remember exactly what she looks like, what she was wearing when I spoke to her, and I since have dispelled those words of wisdom. Just start doing your work. And if you are out there doing your work, you can always backfill in and then be like, well, oh, here's my mission. Or now that I've been doing work, now I really understand my value proposition more, or where my goals can be in several years from now. So for me, sometimes the typical business strategy didn't work. Instead, I was just doing my work. And that has really served me well in creating multiple businesses and running them simultaneously.
I could not agree with you more. I think if there's any message that I have for anyone in the world, it is to do your own work, and the rest of your life's going to come together a lot better, period. Whether that is to address old soul wounds, it is to address the trauma or difficult experiences of this life, or just your current challenge. Perhaps it's your current challenge in your current day. When we do our work, there is something so remarkable that happens with the rest of the world. You know, it just kind of starts to come together. And I think that's one of the things that I see happen so much, and I'm guilty of it, is the very first piece of the startup course that I'm creating is about clarity of purpose. What is your purpose? And a lot of people, they will not move their life forward professionally until they get really, really clear on what is my purpose. As soon as I know what I'm supposed to do, then I can go. And what you just shared, and what I believe in and I've done as well, just start doing.
Just start doing your work.
Yes. The clarity comes as you walk. And it gets sharper and sharper with every step.
Yeah, I
love them.
remember I took a class with Mike Dooley, the writer of Notes from the Universe, and it was fantastic. And one of the things that really struck me was, you know, our GPS, I don't know about you, but even when I know where I'm going, I like to, hey Siri, directions to. And my Siri has an Australian male accent, so it's a
So
delight
does
to be
mine.
bossed around by him. And
Mine too.
I like to have GPS guide me, even though I know I can take one of these two routes because it gives me timing and helps me avoid. But it doesn't work unless we're in action. We have to be moving to get the guidance, the voices of take a left, take a right, keep going, 3 more miles. If we are not in motion, those voices, information doesn't come to let us know we need to reroute or we're on the quickest route. Be in action and allow yourself to follow the intuition as you're moving, just like GPS will guide us when we're in motion. And of course, it's just like, just start, just go. If you need to take a left, right, or a 180 along the route, you know, you can do that.
Right. And the universe is supportive of that. I mean, when we have, like, I've had a couple of missteps along the way. And both when I was in corporate America and as an entrepreneur, this is my 3rd business that I'm starting. And it's really, there's been a lot of little missteps. And what I have found is not only is the universe forgiving, but so are the people that we serve. And I'm not as forgiving. I'm working on it still. I mean, I kind of overcommitted with some of these things that I've been building with the membership. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is way more work than I realized it was going to be. I'm creating videos and PDFs and resources and worksheets and all of that for the courses. And it's just so much. It's not so much to do as it is to learn. So the amount of time and energy I'm spending on learning what's the best technology and what's the right way to create it and how do I want it to look, and wow, it's incredible. So you know, I am learning a ton, and I have to say, while I could hire it out, I'm enjoying learning it because I fully intend to share it.
Yeah, that sweat equity of actually doing it, because what you're doing, Paula, is then inviting all of us entrepreneurs to get in there and do it. Yeah. And I think if anyone in the world is like me, we're all fabulously unique, but I know that I could be better at asking for support and asking for help. And as you are creating this extraordinary resource library for people to learn and to thrive, we never have to go it totally alone. Even though we might be committed to doing the work, who is out there to support us in that as well?
Yeah, this is how the universe supports me. I'll give you my little cool moment of the last 24 hours. So I spent most of the day yesterday creating some of the worksheets and creating kind of the course content and figuring out how to use Filmora and all of this stuff. Because it wasn't anywhere near as easy as I thought it was going to be. And at the end of the day, I got an email from Kajabi. Now, all of our websites in Kajabi. Kajabi is an incredible platform for websites, for all kinds of opt-in pages and landing pages, and the membership and the community and the courses and webinars. It's the most robust software platform that you can find, literally. And they're very customer service oriented, where over the last, I want to say they've been operating 4 or 5 years. They have changed so much of what they're doing based on what we, the customer, want to see. And so I've put in 3 or 4 suggestions because I'm like, I want this to work like this. How come I can't make it work like this? And if I had like WordPress and 50 plugins, I could, but it would cost me a lot more money and I'd have 18 more passwords. I don't want to do that. So I get an invitation from Kajabi. They're starting a pilot program where they're going to have a Kajabi mentor. Ooh. A Kajabi person specifically assigned to a Kajabi customer who's just starting their build out. And I'm like, yes, I'm so in. So I have a meeting today to establish if that's going to come together, because this is what happens when you just do. The world says,
ConsciousPreneurs,
here.
yep. Do it, make requests, ask, and now you might have a handhold through what you want to create, which is extraordinary.
Oh, it would be amazing.
And
Because
sounds
it's
like
easy,
really
but
cost effective too.
oh, it's free. It's a
Yeah,
pilot program
we
that
love
they're
free.
putting together. So,
Yeah.
whoa, we love free. So, thank you again for this time. This was really beautiful. I always love your message, and I love how you tie things together so beautifully as far as grand scheme. What's one message you'd really like, or maybe more than one, for the ConsciousPreneurs that are the current members and future members of ConsciousPreneurs International? What's a message you'd like for them to have as a successful ConsciousPreneur yourself? What would you like for us to know?
You are uniquely beautiful. You have wisdom that the world is thirsty for. By questioning ourselves, by not coming out from behind the curtain to reveal that unique brilliance that you have, it diminishes your own light in the world. Step forward, even when you don't feel you're ready. Start doing your work. And my favorite quote, in fact, I've created a whole workshop around it. It's by Theodore Roosevelt, and it is, comparison is the thief of joy. Thus, as a ConsciousPreneur, when you look at other people to be inspired by, keyword, be inspired by them. Never look and say, I couldn't do that, or why would I bother doing that? They're already doing it, or they're doing it better. Comparison is the thief of joy. Now, we often compare ourselves to our past selves or the self we aren't not yet, so that comparison can be an inside job as well. But most often, I see it of, oh my gosh, I could never. Or when we look at other people, that comparison is often used as a measurement to diminish. I invite a whole new perspective, which is, if comparison is the thief of joy, don't do it. Ask ourselves, am I holding myself back because I'm comparing to someone, something else? And if instead of comparison, I looked at that as inspiration to step up to, that's what will get you moving. Trust your gut, start doing your work.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with every point wholeheartedly. And that statement right there, that very profound presentation of what you just expressed, is exactly why I'm doing this, is exactly why I started it. It doesn't matter what any other ConsciousPreneur or expert in the field or person that I idol is or has done. I have my own experience and wisdom and my own energetic signature.
Yes.
This is who I am. This is my message. This is my heart and my spirit wanting to shine in the world and to help others. I mean, I think that is probably the greatest value and foundation of my life, is I want to live a life of service. And it's what I do. And it's where I get my fulfillment. It's where I get my invigoration. It's where I get my motivation and my energy and my momentum. And I feel really grateful that I'm just doing that. I'm just walking the path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we have to get out of our way to really be on our way. I think the thing that slows us most is us. And so to be out of our way so that we can be powerfully on our path and on our way is really an essential way of operating.
I love that. It's very true. So do you want to tell us what you're up to right now? How can we support you? What's going on? Where's your websites? Do you have any workshops going? Anything that you want to share with our collective today?
I do. I have so many different websites. I at one point, I think I had 70. I just am like, what else can I do? Let me buy this domain. I
have a class for you, Maureen. Coming soon.
I've whittled it down. I think I only have 35 domains right now. I think based on what we're talking about, my website, although not up to date, where we have an annual retreat, coaching, healing work, is Let Go, Live Now. And you can reach me at Maureen, Maureen, at letgolivenow.com. That's where my conscious healing work really takes place. I would say, yes, other things I'd invite in this moment for me, but also for everyone that sees this now and in the future, is what energetic contribution can we each be to each other to assist in obstacle eradication and moving powerfully forward. And so, your question was, I certainly invite people to connect. It'll be my pleasure to connect more deeply with you. But let's also support each other energetically in creating what we most desire.
Yeah, I love it. I completely agree. And is there anything that we can do as a collective to support you? Is there anything that you need from our community, from our collective, from me, anything that you need, since you're not so great at asking for support?
Yeah, there might be. Let's see. I mean, that invitation to be that energetic contribution is certainly something I'd invite your energetic contribution to me, to powerfully be on my way rather than in my way, to create the businesses that most contribute to the world, living powerfully, and to my businesses. But I'd like that to be mutual. So you know what? My request is, if anyone out there's real desire, real passion is strategy, I'm looking for a strategist. This is in creating multiple forms of my business. And a strategist is something, if that's your talent, feel free to reach out to me. Paula, you'll want to unmute.
I don't know why it
Yep,
did that.
I got you.
Thing shut down. Sorry. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So grateful to be
the gist of that.
To see what we can create for ConsciousPreneurs.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to have you here as a part of our collective. I would love for you to add a note in the community discussion board just to share a little bit about who you are, so people know who you are and can reach out and really connect with your vibe. And you've got my commitment easily. I'm sending energy to all of you. And frankly, I can already feel the energy coming back. There's a lot of energy that's very supportive of what I'm creating and what we are building together. And I really feel the circulation of it right now. It's incredible, and I'm so grateful. I clearly know, just because I'm doing, I'm on the right path.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, very good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I so appreciate your time, your energy, your presence in the world, and your gifts. And I'm sure that anyone who gets the chance to see this will appreciate what you're contributing to. So thank you.
My pleasure. And here's to everyone just creating the lives they love.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks so much. You guys have a great day.